a good thing to see finally. It looks like we may be getting a little bit of a bounce there. It'd be great if we did. Boy, I tell you what, I have just kind of been pretty much throwing cash. I mean, it's amazing. I did close a short that I had on Domino's Pizza. It just kind of wasn't working for me, so I closed it. But not and I did. Come on, baby. And I did also set a little bit of a trade up on the XLE, the Spider Select Energy. That was up today as well. Just kind of want to show you that. I also have a position in On, which is a Swiss sneaker maker, kind of an unusual company. That was up today, not a whole lot, about a little less than a percent, up about 19 cents. The XLE was the real star today, and that was up a little over 1.4%. So definitely something to kind of look at. Let's take a look at the XLE just really quickly here. Gonna jump on over, if it lets me. There we go. Gonna jump on over to the XLE. And let's take a look at the XLE. Here's the XLE. As you can see, I came in here basically at, as it's bounced off of the 200-day line. I've waited to moved up a little bit. It's at the 50-day line here. That's where I did take a position. And it is up after hours, so it's definitely making a nice move. I don't think this is going to be going up forever, but I do think that we're likely to see it move up, possibly as high as about the $93 range here. Let's see if I can get that. Yep. Let me see if I let me. There we go. Well, it's not letting me do it. Okay. So let's see if we can get that to come in. Now, let's see if it'll let me. Not being very cooperative today. All right, but basically coming up to that note. So it's kind of the long and the short of it. Let's get into some questions here, so that we can kind of get things moving here. All right, let's see. Sandeep, thank you very much. Let's look at CrowdStrike and see kind of what the deal is with CrowdStrike. See if I can pull up the chart for that. CRWD, of course, is the symbol, CRWD. And jump on over. There we go, CrowdStrike. And we're back. So here's the thing with CrowdStrike. We're still below the 200-day moving average, which kind of stinks for a place to buy it. We're still below that 200-day moving average. So really be careful if you're gonna enter a position here. I know that there's a lot of we've been trying to get stuff off the bottom here, but bottom fishing is not my expertise. I can guarantee you that. So the way I trade, typically I don't like to do bottom fishing, but we are basically, we've got a decent checklist on CrowdStrike. It's 78. That's not bad. On the technicals, though, we are a little bit extended, 8.19% above that 21-day line. But my main concern here with CrowdStrike is the fact that we're below the 200-day line. Just not a place I really want to buy it. I kind of want to wait. Here's the problem that you got with CrowdStrike and so many of the other software stocks. If you draw a line across there to what they call the overhead supply line, this is at 18 months. You can notice how many people bought it above this 126.70 number. So you notice that there's a lot of people that bought it above there. A lot of these people, as it comes up, to about 140, possibly to the 200-day line, a lot of these people are going to be forced to sell it. It did have some nice numbers. It came through earnings well. They just reported, they did come through. They did come through pretty well. Their October numbers were 53% up in sales, 135% up in profit. So that's significant. That's absolutely very significant. But again, I just think we got to be careful here. It's got a relative strength of 19. I'm just not as interested in buying stocks that have a low relative strength in this market. I want to see something that's stronger, and I just think it bears. I think it's kind of a good idea to look for where the strength is. Let's kind of take a look to see where the strength is in this market, and I want to kind of go from the top to the bottom here in terms of where the strength is, so where we can kind of look for potential targets. What I like to do is I like to show the 197 industry groups, and what I do typically is I sort them by relative strength, and so I'm trying to find the strongest ones, of course. And let's look at the group rank. Let's see if I can get this to give us a number here. Hold on. There we go. Come on. So yeah. All right. So we're now ranked from top to bottom. Let's see if we can. Let's say it'll go from. Yeah. Okay. Well, there we go. All right. What I'm trying to do here is show you the top, the strongest, and of course it's not. My system is slow today for some reason. Let's see if we get. There we go. Okay, so now I think it's going to be sorted correctly. Hopefully we're going to be right here. Okay, so group strength, metal products distributed, not something I'm really totally interested in. But, I'm looking for strength here. Oil and gas field services, of course, looking pretty good. It's just tough. I mean, if you look at the number of stocks in here, leisure gaming is pretty strong. This is where some of the casino stocks are going to be. Now, the problem with the casino stocks is you don't want the ones that have exposure to Macau. You want something that's a little bit stronger than that. So let's see if we can get this. Will cooperate. I'm having a little bit of once again having some issues. Oh, gosh. There we go. I'm having some camera issues once again. It seems like I always have camera issues. And let's see. So what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for strength. And the oil and gas field services, still very strong area. So let's go to this. Let's go to this area, and I'm looking essentially for strength. The stocks that are set up well that do have strength. Schlumberger, of course, is the number one stock. I want to take a look at this, how it's set up, to see if it's viable. I think it is. This is one of the strongest stocks right now that we have out there, is Schlumberger. And one of the things, this is set up very, very well. If we look at this as a reversal line here, we've just poked above that reversal line. We've got a 92 relative strength on it. So that's looking fairly good. We have an 89 checklist. This is the kind of stock that you want to probably be looking at. On the technicals, it's not quite. It's a little bit. It's just right at the 21-day line, 2.3735% above the 21-day line. So this one definitely is something that you could buy shares in right now. That would be Schlumberger, and this is the reversal line. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to set an alarm on that line, basically, so if it moves above that line, that'll tell me that we're moving to a higher high. We're still in a downward trend, but if it moves higher, that's looking good. 5609. So these are the kind of stocks that I think that you want to be taking a look at. You want to be taking a look at. Are these stocks that have more of the, kind of more old school? I mean, again, we're coming back to, where the strength of the market is. And right now, the strength of the market is primarily in some of the old tech stocks. That's really where it's at. And so that's one of the places to look. All right, let's look at Exxon for Sandeep. This also, of course, is the oil stock. Now, what I did today is I increased my position in the XLE, which is primarily Chevron and Exxon. It's just an ETF. This is starting to set up fairly well as well. Again, it's come back down to, it's pulled back to the 50-day line, and it's looking like it's making a move. 87 relative strength. This is good. This is good enough for me here because with 87 relative strength, we want to be above 80 on a relative strength. It's got a 67% checklist. This is the minimum for me. But if we look at the technicals, we're right at the 21-day line. So that is a good potential buy. My guess is it's going to move, it's basically moving in this range from about 120, from about 112 up to about 120. So it's moving in this kind of this range here. And it does look like it's going to make another move up. So if you're looking for a swing trade, this might make some sense, where it would move up to there, and then it would possibly move down. So this is kind of the trade that I'd be looking at. We're right now at about 112. So this might come Monday. This might be a good trade up to about 120, sell it at 120. So that's kind of the market we're in. We're in a range bound market. And in a range-bound market, there's not as much opportunities, unfortunately. But that's one of the ways to do it is with a trade like that. All right, Jeff, thank you very much. Let's look at Microsoft and see if there's anything there that we can look at. Again, I'm almost totally in cash. I need to be more exposed to the market, but it's just been tough for me to find the right. Just tough to find the right to the right thing. This is also looks like it bounced off of the. It looks like this is bouncing off the 50-day line, and it's moved above the 200-day line. So that's kind of the minimum place that I would want to buy it. I wouldn't want to buy it really below that 200-day line, but this is not a bad place. One problem here: relative strength's only 45. I really don't like that. I want something that's just stronger relative strength, but the 21-day line is good at 0.59%. So, and the checklist is 56%. So in terms of the softwares, this one isn't bad, but I just wouldn't probably be a buyer here. All right, one of my favorite stocks, Shopify. I'm currently not in Shopify. Last time I owned it for a few days, and I day traded it. It was great. It's one of my favorite stocks. It's kind of it's relatively volatile, which is good. And now we are taking a move up. So it's probably a good time to look at buying Shop here. We came down, we got some support at about 40. It looks like we're getting some more. Looks like we're getting some more support, which is good. So it's definitely kind of the. Let's see if I can give you a better look there. There we go. Okay. So with Shopify, we had this reversal line. It came above that. So this is in play right now. This is something that we could definitely buy. It looks like it's pulled back. It looks like it's reversing. This is not a bad place to buy Shopify. This is not a bad place to buy Shopify. Even though it only is at 56, we are basically just below the 21-day line. We're basically, we're basically we're just a little over 1% below the 21-day line. That's not a bad place to buy Shopify. I do like Shopify overall. I like the industry that they're in. And as you can see, one of the good things about Shopify is that we do have some overhead supply here, but the recent overhead supply is very small. So this is not a bad place to buy it. I think if you bought it here, you could write it up maybe to 50 or 51. I would probably be at, and then I'd be out. But 81 relative strength. So Shopify's looking pretty good. I'm going to put this down on my list because I may be back into Shop. I've done well with Shop. Just basically buying it off the reversal, letting it ride up 2 or 3, 10 points, and then selling it. So that's kind of where I've done pretty good with Shopify. Let's take a question from TikTok. Thank you very much, everybody. What do you think of gold? Well, let's take a look at gold. We'll look at Oracle first. We'll look at gold first, and then we'll look at Oracle. Let's take a first look at gold. This is the ETF that I follow. GLD basically tracks the price of gold shares. This is the gold shares ETF, which I think can be a very good, can be very good look at it. I'm looking at the weekly chart here. We're starting to see a little bit of strength come in, a little bit of strength at 65 relative strength. But again, it has been going down. So, here's the thing. I know that everybody is saying buy gold, buy gold. I'm not so sure that gold is the thing to be in. I think we're better off in treasury bonds, to be honest with you. And so I think the better investment rather than gold is the TBT. And that is, I think, poised to make it move higher. The TBT, basically what it is it's the inverse of the 20-year treasury index. So basically, as the rates go up, and I think we're going to get some higher rates, unfortunately, for I think we're going to get some higher rates for the treasuries. As the treasury rates go up, this will go up too. It's called the TBT, and this is probably, I think it's better than gold, to be honest with you, because the problem with gold, of course, is that we are in a situation where there's not enough dollars circulating. That's really the problem. And so these 10-year bonds are having to raise the rates on the 10-year bonds, and that's really what's causing a lot of the problems here. So if you're in sync with the 10-year bond, the 20-year bonds, I think that's going to be a better, something that's going to give you a little bit better bang for the buck. Let's look at the spider real quick. This is the S&P 500 ETF. SPY is the symbol, of course, on this one. And the spider has been, it's up after hours, which is good. It was up today significantly. One thing I want to show you here, and this is one of the reasons I think we're going to get a bounce at least next week. I think next week should be an up week. Why? Because we got a bounce on the spider. The volume was up 21%, and it was up almost 2%. So, and it's up after hours. So that's telling me that we're going to come off of the. We're going to probably move higher. As you can see, this is the daily chart. We moved above that very, very critical, again, 21-day line. If we're buying anything, that's where we want to buy close to. It's only 0.54% above that 21-day line. So right now, it's a good time, probably at least through the next week. I'm thinking for the next week we should be pretty good in terms of the S&P 500. So I definitely think we're going to see an up week next week, based on this. Now, here's the thing. I don't see the spider going much higher than about about 418 or so. I was saying 431 before, but I think it's on just 418. I think we're kind of we're range bound. We're sort of from about 390 on up to 390 on up to about 420. So I do believe it's going to kind of move like this, and then I think we're going to get a ceiling here at about 420. And then I think that, we're going to just take another leg down. See, we're just right now, the market is just sort of range bound. So look for this to move up at least next week. And then if it hits about 420 on the spider, that's where I think we're going to see, that's where I think we're going to see it make another move lower. But right now, I definitely think at least in this next week, we're likely to see a higher numbers on the spider. I think we could come up to about 420 on the spider before it reverses. So that's kind of my take on the way the market is trading right now. Anyway, so all right, so let's get back to some more questions. Thank you, everybody, of course. And here we go. All right. Well, sometimes it works. There we go. All right, Jeff is asking about GBTC. Now, the GBTC is the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, and what this is they hold about 4% of the world's Bitcoin. And of course, it's been getting a little bit of strength as of late. Let's take a look at the chart. GBTC. One of the advantages, if you're going to play Bitcoin, of using the GBTC instead of actual Bitcoin, is the fact that you don't get the problems that you had with with STX, the Bitcoin exchanges. They can't just run away, and like they're doing now, like Sam Bankman-Fried is basically doing right now. So you can't do that. 24 relative strength. This is still in the downward trend. If we look at the weekly chart, basically, this one basically had its it basically had its high here. It had its high here And then basically it hasn't made any headway since. Basically, it hit its high in September 2020, and then it's just been in a downward trend. The question is, are we in a reversal? Has this thing reversed higher? Well, it's trying to, but it still is in a downward trend. So here's my take on the GBTC, Jeff. I think that you gotta. I just don't think it's time for the GBTC right now. I just think we're kind of in an area where it's just not going to give us, it's not going to give us a lot of room. Basically, what's happening is that we're still in this downward trend on the GBTC. We were getting some support. It looked like it was going to break through, but it's still in the downward trend. Now, if we go to the daily chart, we can probably get a little bit, see if there's an entry point. I don't think there is. Yeah, we're still real below the 200-day line. Just not that's not a place you want to be. I wouldn't recommend it right now. Just not looking that good. Mr. G's looking at Etsy, and of course, this is kind of the twin to Shopify. I've never done quite as well trading Etsy, but I do think it's a great stock, and I do think that it's going to be one of the dot-comers that does probably survive. It does. We were in this downward trend on Etsy. This is the daily chart here. We came down. We didn't quite hit the 200-day line, but it looks like we've got a little bit of strength. I'd be really careful here. We have some issues, and let's go to the weekly chart to show you. We're in this downward trend on the weekly chart. Not a good place to buy it. Let's see if it can get some support. I just think you got to avoid it. So here's the thing with Etsy. Here's the thing. Here's the thing with Etsy right now. I just think you have to avoid it. So avoid. So it might be a good stock watch. It might be a good watch list stock, but avoid Etsy for right now. I just don't think it's going to give you the kind of results that you want to see. I don't think it is. All right, Sandeep, Meta. Let's take a look at Meta platforms. It's interesting. I heard, and I don't know if this is true, that kind of Zuckerberg is kind of silently burying the metaverse. I don't know if this is true or not. I really don't, but it just has not been as successful as people would have liked it to be. They came through earnings here. The earnings per share were down, as you can see. Our sales were down 4%, but what's really telling is the profits are down 52% on Meta. So right now, it's just not a good time to be in Meta, and I don't think it is going forward. I think we're going to see a pullback here, and it could be severe. I just, it still has a very high relative strength rating at 91, but I think it's a little bit premature here. We had this gap up, which was very nice on the last earnings, but ever since it's been trending lower, and it did gap up here, but and there is some volume coming in, but I just think you got to be careful in this one. I don't trust it based on their earnings. On the fundamentals, I don't think it's as strong as it was. Here's what I like to do is to kind of take a look at Meta and compare it to for the last few months. Compare Meta with Google. They're kind of both in the advertising. That's not the right one. There we go. That's the Class A stocks. Let's see if I can. Yeah, there we go. So, okay. So definitely, interestingly enough, Meta is outperforming Google. Let's take a look at the comparison here. Yeah, there we go. This is Meta here. So it's definitely outperformed since the first of the year. It's up 55%, which is a lot. Google's pretty much flat at only up 105, so only up 5% there. Very interesting comparison. I mean, Meta is definitely moving higher. I don't know. I would be a little bit careful with Meta just because I've gotten burned on Meta before. Really give you a good read on that, but I probably would not be in the stock. All right. DocuSign, DOCN, another interesting stock from basically, last year was sort of the lost year for a lot of software stocks. Hopefully this year will be better. Maybe it is coming back to life. Okay, this is DocuSign, and let's kind of analyze it here a little bit. We came above the 200-day line. We were able to move through it, but we got resistance, and now we're back down. So we're coming off the 200-day line again. It definitely looks like it's kind of range bound. Yeah. See, here's the problem with that I'm seeing with DocuSign. Like so many of these other stocks that did well 2 years ago, but didn't do so well last year, they have a lot of overhead supply, meaning that a lot of people bought here, and as it comes down, as it comes up, they're going to want to unload. Relative strength is 81. So I probably would not be a buyer of it right now. I mean, they did their last earnings that they reported were up, but their profits were down. So I can't see this, unfortunately, being a really good. I can't see this one being a really good deal. All right. Well, heck, I haven't really given you much to chew on here, have I? Let's see if we can. Yeah, what I did a little. We were offering a course. It's kind of interesting. We're offering a course. Let me see if I can get it up here for you. The little trailer that I have for it. Let's see. Okay. Well, heck, I don't think I can. Let's see if we've got it here. Under videos. There we go. And okay. Well, heck. It doesn't look like I have it. Anyways, so without further ado, I hope everyone's doing well. If you're not already a member of the Action Trailer, it's super easy to do. All you have to do is join at www.dallastrainingfloor. Also, if you can smash the like button, it really helps us get out there to a lot of people. So smash that like button. Really, really appreciate it when you do that. And we'll be back on Monday. Hopefully we'll have some better news to report. I definitely think we're going to see an up week tomorrow. It just whenever the spider acts like this, that's when we get the up week. And I definitely think that's going to happen this next week. So if it's going to be get your list ready, because I think we're going to have an opportunity next week. I definitely can see an up week this next week. But until then, hope everyone's doing well and has a nice weekend. I'll be back on Monday at 5 o'clock Central Time. Happy trading.